Hello, my wonderful oils family. I am super excited to be able to share with you so many greatness. So many greatness. That like makes no sense, huh? So much greatness on this terrific Tuesday. So, our tips for today. We are going to talk about, this month's theme is about detoxing, and we're going to be detoxing all of our pillars, right? We're wanting to work on all of our pillars because really and truly with this healthy lifestyle, we have to be consistent and regular with what we're doing, right? In order for us to be able to see, how it's all going to work and fit in our lives and all that stuff. So being able to be consistent and doing different little things each day and, seeing after a month, 2 months, 3 months, how things can truly, we can look back and reflect on the amazing improvement. So, but I promised you guys my keto muffin recipe that I did for my wellness workshop on Saturday. So this is what the muffin looks like. Let me show you how super fluffy it is. How it's like really and truly. I'm gonna tear it open. I see how it's not like, crazy dense. It's light and fluffy and it's yummy. All right, so this particular recipe, I'm gonna work it through with you guys. I'm gonna totally do this recipe now. Forgive me, I had to clear my palate. I will definitely post the recipe itself, but I want you to know, so keto is like really vogue right now. So before I even do this recipe, I want us to talk a little bit about keto to understand how it can benefit many people. But remember, we are all unique, bio-unique, and so keto isn't necessarily for everybody. All right, so I want you to definitely keep that in mind. 2 really great keto books are The Keto Diet by Dr. Josh X, as well as Keto Quick Start by Diane Sanfilippo. All right, what I like about hers especially is she has lots of pictures and she really walks you through. She really talks about what are the 3 reasons why the 3 different types of keto dieting. Also understanding cycling, how that might be super beneficial. So this particular recipe is not AIP friendly, but I will show you how it can be AIP friendly because it does have eggs in it. And it does also have a nut butter. So the swap that we will do with the eggs, if you need it to be AIP, meaning autoimmune protocol, is instead of eggs, you would use a gelatin. So you can use a simple gelatin from the grocery store, or you can actually get the gelatin bone broth, the one that actually gels up, that you make little gummies out of. So that will be one swap if it needs to be AIP. And then instead of a nut butter, either a peanut butter or a seed butter, you would swap it with pumpkin puree. Okay, so those are the AIP swaps, and it can still be pretty keto. Actually, it would still be very keto, and I'm gonna talk this out with you guys. So what this one muffin has is a net of 2.5 grams of carbs. All right, so those of you who may not be familiar with keto, understanding all that stuff, keto is depending on what your goal is, whether it is just for diet, exercise, whether it is for clarity, whether it's for losing weight, whether it is for serious therapeutic, getting to systemic inflammation, all that stuff will determine what your targeted range of carbs are each day. So even if a person is just doing it to lose weight, the benefits to keto is it does create clarity. It does help with reducing the sugar cravings because you are taking out a lot of different foods that spike your insulin. So that's another huge benefit. Diane Sanfilippo really goes into the details of that. What I like about Dr. Josh Axe's book is that he talks about how important, he actually goes into how you can be vegan and keto. It's just a little bit more difficult. It just depends on what your goals are. In her book, she does cover that a little bit, but she definitely advocates of that. If you're wanting to do keto, really and truly, you need to be willing to allow animal protein in your diet in order for you to reap the benefits of XYZ. All right, so they give two different perspectives. What I like about her is, again, she really gives it from the point of view of a woman, and she talks about her story and, you know, loving herself, valuing herself and stuff like that. Dr. Axe definitely comes from a nutritional point of view, just gives you the facts. It's a super cool book, but it is black and white. There's no pictures, you know, throughout it. But again, he talks about the importance of fermented foods, how too many people who do keto, they end up messing up their pH balance and not keeping that in mind. So he really touches on, you know, that having a fermented food keto diet is, you know, a pH balanced keto diet is super important. So all of that being said, we're gonna start with my bowl. We're gonna crack 4 eggs. My daughter left one in this carton. That is super crazy, huh? But I guess it didn't have another spot to go to. So while I'm going through this, we're gonna also talk about some other things about detoxing. So again, I'm doing 4 eggs. So we want to think about how we can detox through the spring through our pillars. A quick reminder, our pillars are our nutrition, food, right? Food is our foundation. And then exercise helps with making sure that things get into our system properly. And that our bone density, our muscle mass, our brain clarity, all of that stuff is super important. So those are 2 pillars. Third pillar is how do we work with our stress and our sleep. Fourth pillar is about detoxing, taking out, you know, environmental toxins, taking out any toxins in our system, in our body, in our life, right? And toxins don't have to be just physical. They can be mental, they can be emotional, things like that. All those different things, and how we can then have that self-care, which is really the 5th pillar, but takes it to a different level of our lifestyle is about our nutrition, our exercise, our stress and sleep management, and our detoxing. So here we're going to be detoxing, right? We're going to be thinking about our body is a garden, all right? And sometimes our garden needs, well, our gardens always need a fence, right? They always need to be protected. So even if the rabbits have come in and ravaged our garden, our fence needs to be reinforced with extra pickets or extra this or extra that, but it still needs a fence regardless, even when things are really super flourishing, right? So that's where our Lifelong Vitality Pack can be super helpful. We can think of it as our fence, right? So here I have 4 eggs. Now we're gonna take 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. Coconut flour, so 2 tablespoons is 8 grams of, and I use tablespoon, okay? Just want you to know. So it's 8 grams of carbs, but it is 5 of those are fiber. And so one of the things that in this book she talks about is how fiber actually processes out of our body and doesn't stay and affect our insulin levels and all that stuff. So we don't count the we want to look at the net carbs, right? Not the whole carbs, but the net carbs. So technically there's really only 3 grams. And again, this is gonna be the full 12 muffins that I'll be making, all right? Then I'm gonna be doing, so again, I'm giving you the total value that will go into all 12, but then at the very end, what ends up being is 2.5 net, 2.5 net grams of carbs, or if you don't subtract the fiber, it would be 4 grams. So this was arrowroot. Arrowroot is, yes, a starch, but so it has your highest gram. It's going to be, and I just did 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon of that is 7 grams, but it ends up being negligible. Then you can use 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal, because that will, poof up. What's cool about flaxseed is it is totally fiber, so 2.5 grams of carbs, 2.5 grams of fiber. That's what it is. This particular flaxseed I have is a flaxseed powder with cactus also. So it has cactus fiber. I really like it, but you can do it with just flaxseed powder itself. So with this, again, 1 tablespoon, all right, of that. So now I've got my 3 different flours going on. Okay. Now it's starting to get kind of thick because the flaxseed is in it, which is super good. All right, now I'm about to put the next ingredient in. And you might be wondering, how can this possibly be keto? Because I'm going to use maple syrup, but I'm going to tell you a trick. So 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, yes, is 5 grams of carbs, of sugar, but that's being spread out for 12. How can 1 tablespoon possibly sweeten or give you a mapley taste? This is how. Is you are going to then add monk fruit sweetener or stevia. I thought I opened this. Yes, I did not. So with this, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of the monk fruit, because what monk fruit and stevia do is when you use maple syrup or honey in a recipe and you want to reduce it, but you want that flavor, you could do an extract, a maple extract, like vanilla extract, right? Or you can put 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, and then when you add stevia or monk fruit, it actually enhances the flavor of that particular sweetener. So here, I need another spoon because I got that one dirty. It's a good thing my kitchen's like just right here, huh? All right, so we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of monk fruit. All right, got that going on. Then a 1/2 cup of a nut butter. All right, so if you don't have peanut allergies, a good organic peanut butter can be super good. If you do, then different nut butters, seed butters. Seed butters are even less inflammatory than nut butters. And really and truly, so this is a sunflower butter, this is the peanut butter, and you look at the value and the content of the carbs, they're pretty equivalent. But I'm gonna go with the sunflower butter. I'm gonna do a 1/2 cup. This would be equivalent to approximately 20 grams of carbs, but you're gonna get predominantly fat. And again, when you split that, you divide it by 12, it ends up being negligible. And again, I'll remind you at the very end, this muffin will end up being approximately 2.5 net carbs, or a total of 4 carbs if you don't subtract the fiber out. So now we've got some fun to do. I'm gonna do some stirring some more. See if I can make a lot of mess here. All right, so I'm mixing some more. All right, I could do this not by hand. I don't have to do it by hand, but it's so much fun. All right, got that all mixed in. Now we're gonna add a half a cup of oil. Okay, so the argument is that olive oil cannot be cooked with. It cannot be flash cooked with. But if you're baking with olive oil, as long as you keep it 350 or less, you're not going to change the profile of the oil. It's not going to create rancidity, become rancid. You know, it's not going to change and oxidize. It's not going to be harmful to your body or to your system. But if you're not comfortable with olive oil, if you think it's going to change the taste of it, then you can use other oils like a coconut oil, even MCT oil, several different oils, because again, now I don't have to count any of the carbs because it is totally oil. So my daughter actually really likes olive oil in her muffins. So because it doesn't taste weird to her. It doesn't change the profile to her. And it's just a really great way that she's getting, you know, those good healthy fats, the different omegas that are from olive oil. So I'm going to, real quick, put this over here. All right, so I'm gonna continue to stir that in. So now we have, so real quick, reminding you, we've done 4 eggs, 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, 1 tablespoon of arrowroot, 1 tablespoon of flaxseed powder, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of monk fruit. We've done half a cup of nut butter, half a cup of an oil. Now we're gonna put in 2 drops of cinnamon. All right, 1, 2. And we're gonna put in a drop of ginger. Oh, let me tell you what, this is super awesome. And then a teaspoon of salt. So I use pink Himalayan salt. And a teaspoon for me is a pinch. So that. Then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of baking powder. So I'm going to use the tip of my tablespoon. And then, let's see, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And it helps activate the baking powder and all that stuff. All right, so, do you hear that fuzziness? I like it. Okay. So then again, we're going to stir. So now we've got a nice thick consistency. And I'm going to use my muffin tray. So my muffin container is the silicone where I can pop it up. I don't have to worry about it sticking, all that stuff. So I was on the fence for many years, and I still kind of, again, with the silicone stuff, as long as it's 350 or less, I don't have a problem with that, mostly because I read a lot of what Wellness Mama was putting out and other health advocates that I really, you know, value their opinion and them doing the nitty-gritty science and research so that I can share with you guys. And so there was a lot of talk about, you know, making sure keeping the temperatures lower and all that stuff. So even if you're still kind of concerned at 350, you can bring it down to say 315, and then just have it cook a little bit longer and all that stuff. But let's say you definitely don't want to do any of the silicone, then do a cast iron muffin tray. And then just really oil it up, and don't worry about if the oil, you know, kind of bubbles over or whatnot. It makes it super easy to pull it out then. All right, so we're going to fill up a few of these just so that we can start seeing what this looks like. All right, so I guess I could get an actual measuring spoon out, or measuring cup. So I got my measuring cup. I'm gonna start filling it in. Now, I only fill it into about 1/3 of the cup because this is a smaller recipe. So if you wanted to where your muffins were really full and big, then I would double the recipe up. But this original recipe was me experimenting and wanting to make sure that it was gonna work. So I guess with this recipe, I could just fill up 6 of them, which is what I'll probably end up doing. So you can see, though, that it has a really good consistency, all right? It's not too thick, not too thin. I like to always taste my batter. That's just me. I like to see if it has the right balance of, do I taste enough of the nut butter that I'm wanting to put in it? Do I taste enough of the maple? Or, and a little bit of vanilla. We forgot the vanilla extract. So we're gonna put a little bit of vanilla in with the recipe. So that's what I like to do. So that is our keto muffin recipe. Again, for you to see, this is what the muffin actually, when I broke it open, how it's super soft and spongy. It's not, one of those eating hay or feeling like, you're chewing on something that really has no flavor. You're like, oh, I know this is good for me, but I'm really not enjoying this. We want it to be enjoyable. Now what's super cool is I didn't happen to have my VShake protein on me. I ran out of it. Oh my goodness, probably because I've been baking too much for my daughter. But it's a really good one to add instead of the arrowroot if you want to be able to, again, give that starch balance of, making sure things are gonna fluff up and have a bread-like, consistency and it be super keto friendly. So I will definitely post the recipe for you lovelies. So again, remembering that detoxing with our pillars of nutrition is super helpful and super important, that our bodies are our garden. Ways to reinforce our garden and to protect it with our fences is being able to use things like the LLV, the Lifelong Vitality Pack, because it's going to help make sure that our nutrition that we're taking in is being absorbed properly. It's taking care of our gut, it's taking care of our brain health, taking care of all sorts of things, right? Because without a good fence, then how can our bodies, our gardens, be able to continue to do its natural detoxing, its natural support, and helping us thrive through life, right? Other ways that we can detox with food is making sure that we're getting in lots of whole fruits and vegetables, using our TerraGreens between meals even, or to be able to boost our fruits and vegetable intake. Also, we know that we're not super great at our fruits and vegetables, but the TerraGreens helps us make sure that we're getting our servings of fruits and vegetables in. And then, like I mentioned, the VShake is super great for substituting starchy flours in recipes to still have that bread substance. It's also really great for, a regular protein shake if you like that. What's great about the VShake is that since it is vegan, the proteins that they use in it are anti-inflammatory. All right, so if a person is AIP, it is AIP friendly. So it's super great that way. Because it's predominantly pea protein. So, and remember that if you're part of the Free Oil of the Month Club, a great way to start your 3-month detox challenge is that focusing on the toxins that enter our body first, right, and removing them. So things like the LLV, the TerraGreens, the PB Assist, TerraZymes, and the protein are all super helpful with helping our garden stay super reinforced with these fences, right? Next week, I'm going to be going to focus on how we can clean out our medicine cabinet, get the toxins out of our medicine cabinet, and how the top 10 oils can replace so many of them. So let's say you haven't been using a whole lot of your oregano because you don't quite know what all to use your oregano for, or you don't remember. It's been a while. We're going to definitely dive into that. We're going to dive into think about what you have in your medicine cabinet. All the different things that you think, oh, I really need to replace this, but I don't know what to replace it with that I know is going to be more supportive for my body. We're going to talk about that next week. All right, you guys have a beautiful and blessed day, and definitely shoot me any messages, comment below, get any questions, and I will talk to y'all soon. Here, take care. God bless.